Well, hello and blessings to you. May your hearts be open, your minds clear, may you be flooded with the highest light, love, and joy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me start just with a number of announcements here. So we have a lot going on. Our next online retreat, we will be exploring the 7 chakra centers. And this is an essential teaching for you to have, to know, to experience if we're on this path of awakening. And we're going to explore the 7 minds of God, 7 different awakenings, and of course, the shadows and veils that go along with that. That'll be February 27th through the 29th, 2026. So, the teaching I'd like to bring forward today is a teaching that is so misunderstood. And so I want to offer a little bit of caution, and I want us to pay full attention, and I want to make sure we don't go into states of fear. So as we wake up, as we move into realms of higher consciousness, you will become more sensitive. And often in the New Age world, there's all these sensitive beings who are terrified to go outside, to breathe the air, to eat an apple that's not organic, and they don't want to interact with this person or that person, and they're always afraid of picking up darkness or pain or karma from whoever or whatever it is they interact with. But we have to remember, here on planet Earth, all of us, if we're going to live in a sane way, we must be spiritual warriors. So this teaching comes from a place of strength, and I want us all to hear this, that this teaching is arising out of strength, not out of fear. So as we wake up, and as our subtle energetic body becomes more fully online, you'll begin to feel more, perceive more, see more, and whether it's in the outer world with colors becoming more vibrant, and you'll see the world just feeling, and you'll experience it more alive. You'll feel things, emotions more deeply and fully. Thoughts may come into your field, more intensely. You may be having, so that's just in the world of reality. You may have difficulties with caffeine or coffee, and being around harsh environments or harsh energies. But again, we have to be strong here on planet Earth. This is a planet that requires us to be rooted in a sense of strength if we're going to function in a sane way. So as we're waking up, I want us to imagine that we are growing in sensitivity, but simultaneously, to balance this sensitivity, we must grow in strength. And it's important, like one of the ways we can help ourselves with this sensitivity is through cleansing, through clearing our field, our energetic field, and even our body and our home. And so some of the ways we do this is like if we get into a heated conversation with someone, afterwards I encourage you to go and to immediately wash your face, wash your hands from the tips of your fingers to your elbows, just as a sense of clearing the energy out of your field. In a sense, like washing your hands of the past. This is a way to support the body in letting go. And letting go. What's not good is if we have a heated conversation with someone and we spend time alone just thinking about it over and over in our head, arguing with the person who no longer is existing in reality. They're gone, they're off, doing something else, and we're busy fighting in our mind with them. It's also not good for us to go to our best friend and to gossip more, about what so-and-so said and what they did and this and that. Because, then we're just adding to the dirtiness or the confusion of life. And so many of you in this room are healers, are light workers, are practitioners. And you'll find that, after you've given a healing treatment, it might be good for you to go on a walk. It might be good for you to spend some time in nature. Again, and the walk might be a 5-minute stroll around the block, opening up to the hugeness of the sky, connecting to the depth of the earth. Again, being like, I love being a good Muslim, and before we go in the temple, we wash our hands, we wash our face, our face and then our hands all the way to the elbows. It is clearing kind of the confusion of life and these denser energies out of our field. And we're doing this as a sense of personal, I'll call it energetic hygiene. We're not doing it out of fear, which is so often how I see this taught in New Age circles, is we put up these defense fields and we have to, be on guard all the time for these negative vibrations. No, we're doing this the same reason we brush our teeth. We want clean, healthy teeth. We don't want to be carrying around the food from the past, into tomorrow's day. So every day we're clearing ourselves. And so sometimes we'll work with sage, so I've got like all these different types of sage. This one here I picked myself, and this one a friend gave me. And so we burn sage and we smudge ourselves. We smudge our homes, our room, our altar. Some of us, we need to smudge our computers because we've ingested too much of the news. And so as we're waking up and becoming more and more sensitive, we want to really take notice of, well, what is it that I'm taking in? Am I taking in the bad news of the day? Am I taking in divisive media that's making me hate my neighbors, making me hate half the country? What kind of media is coming into my field? And we need to be clear that the more we ingest, pain, darkness, and confusion, if you're a highly sensitive person, you're going to feel all that stuff. And it's going to show up in your dream world. It's going to begin to veil and cover your chakra centers. Kundalini Shakti ultimately wants us to be clean and clear. Clean and clear. But again, Kundalini Shakti also does not want us to live in fear of the earth and fear of the tantric world. So Kundalini Shakti knows that this world is a tantric world. We grow through facing opposite perspectives, opposite viewpoints. So many of us, we come into this world tender and sensitive and open. We might have a harsh father or mother, schizophrenic brother or sister, and our job is to fearlessly meet them and ourself in this world with love. Our job is not to fear them and to run away. But part of our growth might be setting boundaries. I always like to acknowledge that. But not to fear the world. So when we fear, it does the same thing as, taking on lots of intoxicants. When we fear, it closes the chakras. The same way if we're drinking alcohol or, smoking lots of marijuana and these types of things, or doing drugs, or lots of prescription drugs, and, or always eating sugar or junk food or highly processed foods. Again, I don't want to make big rules about these things, but it's important to know, the more we ingest these things, the more our psyche and our subtle energetic body, our sense of awareness, will be clouded. Will be clouded. And the good news is to clear our chakra centers. It doesn't require a lot of money. We don't have to go visit with some healers. It just takes a willingness, to hop in the shower, or to sit down in meditation, to go for a walk in the park without your phone, to leave the phone behind. I did this beautiful thing on my phone is I found a way, it took me a very long time to figure out how to do this, but to find a way to take the news app off my phone. So it's not just always popping up on my home screen that we're going to war, or this person was shot, or that person was shot. In the country's fighting over this, and the right and the left, and the this and the that, and Trump did this, Biden did that. It's like, I don't need to hear any of that. I show up and I vote from a place of truth, and I let it go. I let it go. I don't need to be given a story about, climate genocide, climate extinctionism every single day of the week. That's just going to fill this body with too much stimulus. And I have friends who literally live in the desert in tents. And when I hang out with them, I notice, their consciousness is so different, so utterly different than people who live in cities and who are just on their phone all day long, constantly plugged in. And my friends who live, in the desert, their minds are open. They're in touch with the seasons. There's this sense of spacious freedom and a depth of strength that's radiating throughout their consciousness. And so when we're on this path, it's so important. If we live in this world, a world where there's so much chaos, so much media, so much division, protesting, fighting, at some point, because we're so sensitive, because we're waking up, because we value the truth, because we value peace more so than just flooding our mind with this addictive, divisive media, and it's just drama all day long, we discover there's another way to live. Another way to live. And so right now, I'm going to invite us to shut down our eyes and begin just to reflect. Just to reflect on what it is in your field that you're taking in too much of, or what it is in your field that you need to let go of. Some of us are plugged into gossip. Some are plugged into judgment and criticism. Some of us are plugged into self-hatred, or the flip side, a sense of arrogance and superiority. Some of us are addicted to the news. Some of us are addicted to substance. Some of us are addicted to our projections. And so let us just take a moment and reflect. What is the thing, or the things, that cloud your field? What is it that clouds, that clogs the nadis, your chakras, your heart, your mind? And again, from a place of love and a place of strength, not a place of fear. A place of love and strength. What could I let go of? What could I let go of? And for some of us, we also might need to come down and ground into earth. Like we might be disassociating from life. We might just be floating around, again, out of fear. We can distract out of fear. We can use intoxicants out of fear. We can dissociate out of fear. And so sometimes, as we look inside, we realize, oh, there's something here I need to face. Something here I need to look at. And then let's take a deep breath and let's ask, is there something here I need to actively change? Change. So we're inviting a greater truth, a greater intelligence to arise out of this vast, spacious peace that surrounds us, that holds us. A vast and spacious peace, which is the very fabric of our consciousness. And so let us continue to listen to our body, to our chakras, as we gently scan the energetic body, our field. I invite us just to feel to the space of the mind, to just notice, are there limiting beliefs here? Are there divisive political thoughts? Is there anxiety in the space of the mind? Or thinking, figuring, striving? And together, let us take a deep breath and let go. And let go. And journeying down the spine, coming into the throat chakra. And as we open the throat chakra, I want us to start with a question that's good for the throat and the crown. Do I have faith in God? Am I open to God? Am I receptive to the divine coming into me and showing me a greater way? A greater way. We call forth divine support. So the crown is open, the third eye is open. As we look into the throat, we see, is there any congestion here? A judgment, a criticism. Sometimes it can be just an unconscious grip. That's the superego saying no to life. And in the throat chakra, let us smile a little bit. And let us consciously choose to say yes to life. Yes to God. Yes to truth. Yes to a higher way. A way where we surrender to that which is greater. So often in the throat chakra, the congestion is an unconscious or neurotic desire to control, efforting, judging, criticizing, gossiping. If you're a gossip, I want you to see that and say, How about I let that go? If we commit to letting go of gossiping about others, letting go of judging others or judging ourselves, as we're breathing in and breathing out. Inviting the throat chakra to be fully open. And as you do so, you notice this grace, this higher consciousness, both waking up in you, simultaneously flowing down from heaven, supporting us. And so journeying down the spine into the heart. Again, noticing in the heart, is there old pain here? Does the heart feel beat up or burnt out or exhausted, stretched thin, hypersensitive, overworked, dealing with heartache or heartbreak, lack of trust, whatever it is, whatever the veils, old pain or karma in the heart. Let's invite this grace of God to wash over the heart, to renew, to restore the heart. As we're breathing in, and breathing out. Inviting our original innocence to come online. Our original innocence to be restored in the light. And as you come into this innocence, you may notice yourself spontaneously forgiving, spontaneously surrendering. Your heart wisdom may come forward and say, I need to stop that old divisive behavior. We choose to be like the Christ, like the Buddha, like Mary, like Shiva, a dancing bikini of light. Inviting the heart to be bathed in the light. Your heart may even say, I need to go outside and sunbathe. I need to experience the sun on my chest, on my face. To breathe fresh air. And let go of the silly phone and social media. The heart is so wise and will show us clearly what is good for us. What is healing, restoring, rejuvenating. And as this cup overfloweth, let's travel again gently down the spine to the third chakra center, the solar plexus. This chakra center tends to do a lot with fighting, efforting, striving. And many of us on this path of awakening, we've become a little bit worn out or burnt out. We fought for our survival against abusive, narcissistic people, or is difficult, challenging people. And again, I invite you just to imagine the third chakra center being like a cup, a chalice. And in this moment, we're simply receiving. Warmth, love, restoration, rejuvenation. And sometimes our human body and nervous system unconsciously fights with Kundalini, unconsciously fights with God. In the third chakra center, if that's you, I invite you just to ask your will, if it would be willing, to put down the fight. And to instead open and trust. Put down the fight. And instead open and trust. Trust in God's intelligence, trust in God's way. Giving ourselves permission to put down the sword. Put down the sword. And some of us on this path, we get into whole great dramas and feuds and have these things about being attacked, by entities or by friends, family, people in the Sangha, your neighbor, attacked online. And I invite you just to walk away from the fight. To put the sword down. To allow yourself to stand on top of the mountain. To see that none of these fights exist in reality. So often these arguments, these fights, psychic attacks, all this type of thing, exist in etheric planes, exist in the mind, exist in fantasy, exist in projection. We're inviting all of this to be cleared out. Saying, I walk away from the fight. And as you do so, I invite you to see the fight dissolving. Some of you have just a fight between you and Kundalini. your humanity and Kundalini. It's like, let's just fully walk away from the fight. Stand on top of the mountain. Seeing yourself as a great yogi, great yogini, great Buddha. Shining light in all directions. Not allowing any pettiness to disturb you. To support this, we're continuing to open down into the second chakra center. Saying yes to strength, yes to divine power. Surrendering, again, egoic strength, surrendering egoic will, surrendering egoic efforting. opening more fully down along the spine and the root, and allowing yourself to root down fully here on planet Earth, seeing yourself as a divine warrior, a warrior of light, a warrior who allows God to fight your battles for you. Allowing your angels to lead the way, kindness and forgiveness to direct you, compassion to be the sword. We breathe, we feel, we soften, we open. And as we open into the earth fully, together let us welcome the grace of God in the form of Kundalini Shakti flowing directly up from the earth, through the root, through the hara, through the solar plexus, smiling as this column of light begins to flow up through the central channel, through the heart, through the throat, through the third eye, through the crown, pouring out the top of your head like a volcano flowing into heaven and raining love, happiness, joy, strength, peace, harmony, healing down all over planet Earth. And so, I invite you to continue to stay with your direct experience. This is, of course, one of the greatest ways to clear, to cleanse, and to reconnect with our divinity. Ultimately, Kundalini Shakti doesn't want you to simply reconnect with the truth. Kundalini Shakti wants to live through you, as a nondual expression of the divine, in form, in matter. And so beautiful to be here in this wondrous space with all these wonderful yogis. We're going to move into sharing now, and I'm going to invite us to share what our experience has been like, as we've worked with this meditation, or what our experience has been like with clearing, and we can even admit, the things that we've taken on that aren't good for us, the things we're letting go of.